Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rum on a Couch video number 98. Dave here from Manchester Rum Festival, and for this episode I'm going to showcase an island that I've never showcased in the 98 episodes of Rum on a Couch. Madeira. Now I really got my head around what Madeira offers in terms of its rum production. A friend of mine, Peter Holland, has always vouched for the kind of rums that have come out there. I was very intrigued. I was following him on his socials when events, I think just before COVID, kicked in and ruined everyone's travel plans. And I got to meet the ladies at Bovey Wines, who are the importers for a specific brand called William Hinton here in the UK. Met them in Manchester, and they obviously import a lot of, as you'd imagine, Madeira-based wines, which are very, very good. But ultimately, I was there for the rum. I'd never experienced William Hinton before, but I was very lucky to enjoy the flavours that these offered. So I was very honoured to then have the opportunity to buy some bottles, because there was one in particular I absolutely adored, and I couldn't get it at that time. But I kept in touch with the ladies at Bovey, and ultimately when the opportunity arose, when they were having a net shipment come into the UK, I took full advantage and picked up not only the one you've just seen, which is the Madeira Cask finish, but ultimately, in my mind, and I'm hoping it'll come across, one of the best overproof rums I've ever had. Bold statement, because I'm a big fan of Ray and Nephew as well. But ultimately, a very different approach. So ladies and gentlemen, let's dive in. Let me show off why I think, and as you can tell, it's already open. I apologise I didn't do it straight away on the Rum on the Couch series, but why I think it is one of the best overproofs out there. I will have that one second, because it is going to overpower my experience of this Madeira wine. There was a couple of options I could have had when it comes to this, but I chose Madeira Cask because there's no rums that I've had that are doing a Madeira Cask finish. So I thought it'd be quite unique for me to purchase a bottle of this as well. So let's get this open. I was very fortunate. I've just come back from Berlin. When this goes out, it'll be a couple of weeks ago. But ultimately, I saw the guys at William Hinton at the show I was at, and I was able to experience a couple of the other cask finishes as well. One was sherry, I believe. I am doubting myself, and I don't want to make myself look a fool. But also, the other side of that overproof, which I'd never had before. A little bit more subtle compared to what I'm going to experience in a minute. But ultimately, another approach to not just William Hinton, but Madeira rum on its own. And there is a Madeira Rum Festival next year. I want to say it's April, and I'm going to try and see if we can get over, because I'm really embracing what Madeira rums are all about right now. Anyway, back to what we have in our bottle right here. So this is the William Hinton limited edition, aged in Madeira casks. On the back of the label, it's 42% ABV. Madeira Cask finish is a one-of-a-kind edition of our first 9-year-old rum, made from pure sugarcane juice and a single distillation in a century-old column that was blended with one of the very last rums to be produced in the historic, let me see if we can pronounce this properly, say that again. Engenhoe do Hinton is the best way I'm going to say that. I apologise if that offends anyone. It closed 36 years ago in 1985. No colour or flavour has been added. The exotic aroma profiles and the elegant tasting notes are a result of 6 years in French oak casks and another 3 years in special Madeira wine casks. They're aged in the subtropical climate of Madeira Island, with 10% angel share in its first year and 8% to 5% in the following years. That's some transparency there for you. This is cask number 314. Bottles 671 out of only 771 bottles. So let's give this a go. If I can get it open without dropping it. Oh, that was sealed. Got my glass here. It's a bit of a weighty bottle. It's not one you want to be throwing around, I can tell you. And it's not the easiest to handle either. With the shape of that, it's trying to grip that one. It's a bit of a difficult one, but hey ho. Still a beautiful looking one. It's definitely going to stand out on the shelf, isn't it? Anyway, so. Now, I've never been to Madeira before, but that is what I expect Madeira to smell like. Tropical, definitely. Subtle tropical, quite soft. You kind of get that sort of, it's more like subtle fruits. You kind of, more stoned fruits, I'd say. Not sort of currants, but there is an element that sort of lifts it a little bit. It's like a green apple element. A little bit of, maybe there's a little bit of citrus in there. But it's not opening up too much. So, I have a feeling it's setting my palate up quite nicely. There we go. That's Madeira wine. Sort of straight down as well. It doesn't go wide. Oh, it is a little bit at the end, to be fair. It's hitting the back of it, of your throat. But subtle. It's not rich. It's not bold. It's not powerful. And I didn't expect it to be. The experience I've had with Madeira wines, they are quite soft, subtle nuances. Not delicate. Ultimately, there is a lot of it's more like kind of red wine-esque look to it all. So the expectation in my mind as a fan of red wines, especially my South American styles, is you're not going to get the crisp, delicate notes of your Chardonnay, for example. But that is exactly what I expect with Madeira Cask finish. Interestingly, when I breathed in on my nose, through my nose, when I was tasting it at the same time, it added a sort of dual combo. You got the subtle aromas of the sort of grape element coming through. At the same time, you had the sort of softer, slightly dry. It's really sort of, I think it's because I'm talking as well, but it's kind of rounding off with dryness. But it is quite it is quite complex. I just can't seem to pick up the individual flavours, but there's definitely a lot of things going on there. It's quite short, although when I breathe out, you do get the aromas of the grapes coming back through again. But it's not too sweet. It's getting to be quite dry on the finish, to be honest, which is not it is as expected. I tell you what, in my mind, when I first tried it, and I've developed it in the last minute or so, it's the setting you'd have for this kind of rum. It's not a cocktail rum. I wouldn't mix this. I wouldn't even blend it with some delicate flavours to make a really good, Manhattan, although that could be a good shout if I wasn't that fussed. But that is it's a beautiful glass. Terrace, overlooking a sunset of Madeira. And you've got vineyards in front of you, and you've got some great company. And you're just enjoying each other's company, a bit of chit-chat, nothing too political or anything like that. That's the setting that's been in my mind since I smelt that as well. And I think that's a cool thing. It's a rum that defines when it should be drunk. Not saying that you would never drink this at 10 o'clock in the morning. However, this is that kind of end of the day, something to look forward to. You're going to get something that's not too punchy, but also not too delicate. It's a beautiful mid-centre there. You get some amazing flavours coming off from the Madeira wine casks. Maybe a little bit more subtle than I was expecting. However, if you've never had Madeira wines before, I feel like this is going to be a new experience for sure. Really brings on board what Madeira's flavours are all about. Speaking of flavours though, I think we need to try out this one. So this was under the table at the tasting in Manchester a couple of years back. Essentially, I call this a Limitada because I can't pronounce the first one. But this is 69% ABV. Back the label says, this rum was obtained from selected lots of sugarcane from Madeira Island, whose juice was subjected to a natural fermentation process. Its production method makes it a unique rum with exclusive and limited production, 2,500 bottles. Say that again, 2,500 bottles. And I was genuinely blown away, and I'm hoping it's going to come across as such when I give this another go. Now, like I say, I'm a big fan of the Ray Nephews. I will drink this. I will freak bartenders out by asking for a double, hold the ice at their bar. Smith and Cross, big fan of that. All the Jamaican styles, the money musks of the world. It's as much as people can deride overproof rum as just being set on fire. There's some amazing flavours that can come out of it. Den Ross from St. Lucia Distillers, Bounty 151, the same as well. There's some amazing nuances you can pick up. This, wow, it's wild. It has that subtle Jamaican funkness. And I say subtle Jamaican. It's not rich and powerful. It's not smacking you in the face. However, it's there. And I'm not too far away from the glass here either. It's definitely wild. It's definitely that wild fermentation it says on the label. It's ripe, is what I would say to that as well. This is unaged. So I'm not expecting any sort of roundness that the barrel would have influenced towards both the aromas and the palate itself, but this is just, it sets yourself up to think, that's not what I expect an overproof rum to be smelling like. It's so fresh, so fresh. And because even though it's sugarcane juice as well, don't be wrong, I've had a lot of agricoles in my time. Martinique, Guadeloupe styles, I'm going to say St. Bart's. This is not that. This is, the wild fermentation offers a very different approach in my mind. As expected, I suppose. It's not controlled. It's just, I don't want to keep saying the word natural, but it's a natural effect. And it offers a very different approach to what an agricole would be like. Okay, taste test. I mean, it will take you a couple of seconds to start speaking something, but mouth-watering. Holy Christ. Excuse my blasphemy there, but this is such a, what's the word to use? It's mouth-watering, and try not to dribble. There's a lot of flavours going on. It's the earthiness that's sort of gone right up here. You get the juiciness of the actual juice itself. It's almost as if it's just sort of frozen what the juice is about and then let it go right at the end when you actually start to impact into your mouth. It's almost as if it's fresh. It lacks the yeasty elements of sort of that funkiness you would get with the Jamaican style of overproof rums. And that's a good thing in my mind. I love that, as I say. But this is not Jamaican overproof rum. This is Madeira. And Madeira, in my mind, offers a bit more of a softer, subtle approach. It brings out some of the nuances that the earthiness can offer, the terroir can offer, the minerals that are really shining through beautifully well in this as well. And it's worth having the second sip. Ironically, the second sip is actually a bit more subtle. Your palate's just got used to drinking overproof rum on a Saturday morning. However, it's a long, beautiful, scented finish towards it. It's not disappearing anytime soon either. Would you mix this? I mean, yes, of course, you can mix anything in my mind, but I wouldn't want to. It would make some amazing serves, a really good tea punch style as well. But I feel this is one that just needs to be embraced on its own. Maybe a little advice for some people, and there'll be absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I think this as it comes, stunning. Absolutely stunning. Definitely top 3 of my overproof rums in my world. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, this may not be widely available right now, but I'm sure it will be very, very soon. And of course, the Madeira cask is available already. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the opportunity to embrace Madeira, William Hinton is the starter. If you like your overproof rums, definitely give this a go if you find the opportunity to do so. Until then, we are 2 videos away from number 100. So fingers crossed, I will see you all for the centenary of Rum on the Couch very, very soon. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and I will see you again.